All right, we'll get things started.
All set? Okay.
Scituate Board of Health meeting, Selectmen's Hearing Room, Monday, November 18th, 2013. Meeting agenda. You guys read the meeting agenda? Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to accept the agenda for Monday, November 18th.
Second motion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have approved meeting minutes, August 26th. Not quite ready to approve those yet, so we'll table those till the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. And I don't think this is an issue here, but director's report, we'll just go right into that, because
Okay.
that's on for 7:05, but I don't...
Okay, last time I saw you was before the health officers meeting. It was a very good meeting. Two things of note. One is that it is DEP's intention to drop all septic system approvals under 10,000 gallons on us totally, probably by the end of the year. That means that they will not have to be forwarded to DEP, that their approvals will be local. So there won't be any second eyes looking at and second guessing. It's going to be totally our ball of wax.
Are they, can they still be involved if we need them
They
to
are-
be? Do they still
they're-
have engineers on duty? Do they?
They will be available for technical advice.
Okay,
Um,
but we don't need them for approval, so that,
Right,
Yeah.
so this saves some time and money for some people.
Every person, not just some, everybody, right?
Well, I'm trying to remember if they're going to be doing it the other end because they're not getting the income money anymore.
It'll come from somewhere.
Well, you know, if they take it away here, somehow it shows up there. I don't know how that works, but usually maybe that does. I guess I was talking to one of the engineers that I work with a lot, and he says he expects that they will probably be doing a lot more enforcement. So maybe there'll be a lot more finding activity and bringing money in through that door instead, I don't know. The other thing from DPH is that the new commissioner actually started out as a nurse working with local health in Nantucket. So she has a very good understanding of what happens at our level. And consequently, she has agreed to form an Office of Local Health. This is something that we had probably 20 years ago, and one commissioner who had a different perspective on things totally eliminated. And a lot of us have been advocating for this for a very long time. And we had some interior allegiance within the department as well, but they weren't the commissioners, so they didn't get to make the call. So they're just getting started. I know the director very well. She's a great person, and she has local experience. And I'm planning on giving her an earful, one way or the other, about some things that I think can not just be helpful to Scituate, but in general helpful to a lot of towns, just based on what I've seen and experienced. And I really think that you know, they're open to ideas that are going to assist not just us, but I think board members, health officers, and you know, I think it'll be a very direct ear to the commissioner as well, which I think will be extremely helpful. As you know, they have a few problems to clear up with the laboratory and the compounding pharmacies, which has been a distraction for them. But they're getting a handle on that, and you know, she is in fact going forward, following in Auerbach's footsteps in doing a regional talks with the local health community. Ours, I think, is the 20th in Newton. If any of you want to attend, I'll give you the information. It's during the day. But it's a chance to be heard, it's a chance to meet some of the other local commissioners and to, you know, let her hear what it's like down here and, you know, what we think the issues are and where we think we need the help. So I think that it's a really great move forward, and she's planning on having, going back to something we had a very long time ago of regional directors. Our regional office is somewhat open in Canton in the Mass Hospital School area building, and you know, that would be great if they could redo that, because they used to have courses for board members as well as agents and meetings, and it was a way to, if you weren't sure where you needed to go in the department, you could access through the regional office, and they would set you up. So that I think is going to be very helpful. It also, I think, is going to promote more of the where the state has been taking baby steps towards talking about regionalization. This is going to help with that. I mean, the region. A lot of us, there are some of us in Region 4B that we belong to is probably the top region among the emergency preparedness regions, because we're functioning our own way, because we sort of established ourselves as a pseudo group before they officially made the preparedness regions. And because of that,
It's due out of necessity too, where we live.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, right, right, being a coastal community.
Right.
yeah, but actually, I was with other people too, but we were dealing, it really started out over West Nile and Triple E. So, I mean, you know, a lot of the stuff we deal with knows no borders, so I mean, you know, it is good to be talking with each other. So, because we were a pseudo group, we were the group where we made the call that we got to hire our coordinator, or else we weren't gonna sign on. And of course, because of the group we were around, you know, significant communities in the 128 belt, they couldn't have us not agree to be part of their group, so they let us do it. And of course, we got very good coordinators. The other people had people appointed by the department, and there has been infighting. Some of the groups, we function as one big group. Some of the groups have split into, one region has split into 5 little groups because they can't get along. And then there's another group that all they do is take turns fighting over the table and not accomplishing a lot. So we belong to the good group, and consequently, you know, we have created some best practices that we've shared with others, and other groups, a few like out in Western Mass have shared some best practices they've shared with us, and that's something I see the regional offices and the Office of Local Health trying to do is to share that kind of information, so, you know, it saves us time, money, and headaches. Somebody's already done it, just, you know, cut and paste and do it yourself type of thing. So I think that, you know, helps a lot. And it's good to have other resources, that you're not the only one in the boat, and you have someone else to talk to who's been there, knows the pitfalls, and can give you the, you know, the advantages, the disadvantages. And I think that kind of sharing of information is invaluable in this type of business that we're in here. So I'm very happy to hear that, and I got all my CEUs, so I'm in good shape for my licenses for next year. All of you who visit our office, Stephen, who's helped out with some of the purging, has seen our filing system. It's turning out to be a lot more work than we thought. We thought once we got the purging done, we'd be done, but wrong.
Wrong files. I mean, it's all hard copy, it's all plans, and it's all,
Well, what is turning out, we have people who have assigned themselves their own number as opposed to what the town has assigned them on a number. So when they ran the labels, they're coming up with, never heard of this place. And we still have some that are old lot numbers, and we're going back and I'm trying to match them up on the maps. And one weekend I had a backache from, because I'd stood over the map so long. But we're still doing that, and we had the vendor had some trouble merging the sewer list with the assessor's list and coming up with a finite list. And, they're still giving us stuff that's on sewer, or they should know, it seems like everything in Hummerock's getting bumped up to us for some reason or other. I don't know how that didn't get on the list, but. So it's taking a lot more work and a lot more time than we thought, but hopefully next week it'll be wrapped up. Which is a good thing, because the budget is going to be due on December 12th. And then I'll be meeting with Tricia on the 17th. And then
This would be the budget for fiscal year 2014?
15.
15, rather, right, 15.
Yeah. And then on,
So we start now, get it approved, and this is for town meeting in the spring, March,
yeah.
April, okay.
Okay, our meeting with, the Board of Selectmen is going to be on the 18th, and our meeting with the advisory is going to be on the 20th. Both of these are in February.
Yeah, should be.
So prepare yourself.
February 18th is that one?
The other thing is the warrant is opening December 5th, and it's closing the 17th for the articles for April. So,
Is there anything, I hate to ask this, but I gotta ask, is there anything we're working on that would need to go before town meeting, or is it all in-house? Well regulations,
yeah, well, tobacco and well regulations are in-house.
okay, and,
If we want to create a revolving account, it would have to go to town meeting. I tend to think that, although Tricia knows we are very interested in this idea, I don't think I could give her the information now. She'd be happy with it because of the short time frame. I can.
how you doing, sir? Can we help you?
It's all
They
done.
all wrapped up.
Concom's already done.
This is the Board of Health. We started at 7.
What time is the Concom?
6:59. Oh, no, they finished up right as, right at 7.
Wow. I missed it. Okay.
You can join us if you want.
Go home and watch the game.
We've got a captive audience.
I'm gonna do that with my 92-year-old father. Do they have an agenda still here, or is that gone?
It might be posted out there.
Yeah, that's not very interesting. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing we could.
So the revolving account would be
One
for
thing-
tobacco licenses, and then so we can do our own,
One thing I could do,
yeah.
as a way of
6 o'clock.
making this happen still, is put it in the budget. Find out what the costs are gonna be, to hire somebody, put it in the budget.
Okay, well, why don't we table that, because I think once you finish your report, we're going to get into discussion of tobacco regulations,
Yeah.
so we'll probably revisit that conversation very shortly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's one way of doing it,
Yeah.
other towns do. The other thing is, as part of the budget process, she asks us every 5 years to do benchmarking, which basically is, we have to, she gave us a list of towns, 11 towns. She wants sort of she's most interested in the staffing levels and the services offered. And with us, that's a lot of services. because we touched so many different topics.
Just curiosity,
And-
what 11 towns did she, did the town administrator request? Were they our abutters, our neighbors?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Abington, Rockland, Marshfield, Kingston, Duxbury. I say Hanover, Norwell, Cohasset, Hingham,
Hull?
Hull. And Mary just typed up the survey I made that I'm sending to my colleagues with an introductory letter. And I basically made it as fill in the blank and check off scheme. I'm asking for population, square miles, percent Seward, if at all. I'm asking for the names of employed staff, full or part-time, in their title. I'm asking for whether they have, in addition to services like Title V, body yard, wells, food, perks, whatever. I'm asking if they have contractors, if so, how many hours, and whether they pay per hour per inspection. But I'm also asking, do they have any special interests like wind turbines? I'm asking, do they receive money through their emergency preparedness region? Do they have any emergency preparedness meeting, any emergency preparedness account funded by the town? Do they do shelter management, stuff like that? So that, I'm trying to touch all aspects of the picture that we have. And then we're also going to nursing services. What does that offer? So, it might give us a better idea of where we are at and where we should be. But we'll see what happens. And I can make that information available to the board if they're interested. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is when we get the answers is maybe ask Mary to work it up in an Excel spreadsheet, because it's going to have to go in with the budget. And that would be the easiest way to, I think, to figure it out. I'm done.
Excellent. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, especially to me, the population and what services the Board of Health does provide with the amount of people. Because I used to be very familiar with quite a few of those towns. And Scituate to me seems a little understaffed for what we take care of. So it'd be interesting to put that into a numbers perspective.
Yeah, well, in some towns, the structure itself is different, because even though there are boards of health, Duxbury and Hanover tend to be operating on more under an inspectional services type operation. So I know in Duxbury, she has a budget, but it goes in under an inspectional services budget, and there's another layer above her, sort of, financially, between her and, say, the town administrator, as opposed to, even though she still works for a board. So, it's another step they have to take.
Most of the boards 3 or 5.
Varies town to town.
Yeah, it varies town to town, and then also, like, we're appointed, some towns are elected.
Right.
Marshfield's an elected, I know that.
I've worked for both. My opinion is it depends mostly on the quality of the people, not how they got there.
Yeah.
Some come in with their own agendas, some use it as a stepping stone, some truly just want to help, some just want to get their name imprinted.
Like me, I want to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up in this job either, because I don't want to listen to myself talk. But hey, it is what it is.
Oh. All right, well, thank you, Jennifer.
Good job.
Informative, as always.
Okay, people, let's get back to the tobacco regs. We didn't do our homework, so here we are, picking out which ones we're gonna do.
All right, well, 7:10 PM, discussion tobacco regulations. And I, for one, I don't like to ever jump into anything too quick, so I had some time to talk to some people and do a little research, and I feel more comfortable about the thoughts in my head, so, you know. Going over that list, I think we were talking about it before, I don't see a lot of this stuff for the town of Scituate myself. You know, having hookah bars and cigar bars, and seems like
Wait a minute, you don't see us having these regulations?
No, seeing them in town, having regulations to stop them cold,
Oh,
right dead in their
okay.
tracks. Yeah.
I'm going, what?
And it's just my personal
Put it in
opinion.
there so nobody can even think about coming here.
Yeah, just stop it right
It's
then
called
and there.
prevention.
Prevention. And it comes from a lot of discussion with, well, a little bit of traveling around and sitting in a few bar rooms and having some talk with patrons and the help. And a lot of the help has said, in a lot that smoke, it's better to just keep it out. And it was the same with the e-cigarettes. I didn't have one person pro e-cigarette. Every one of them said, don't even want to deal with them. Treat them same as smokers. And the more I heard that, the more it made me realize, and again, it's just one man's opinion, that it should be probably treated as such, just to, we don't know what the,
I just think we have to, I think we have to separate that from the discussion, because that's gonna be decided on a state level. And there's pending legislation at this point for that, and I would not wanna muddy some of our other stuff because of that. Because I'm all for just going right down the list here. There wasn't almost a yes across the board. And I just, if we lump these, in fact, one of these was the e-cigarette, right? I just don't think we have the enforcement. I think that's just currently out of our jurisdiction.
For now, why can't we, just the same as these towns have already done it? Just make it the same as smoking cigarettes. The e-cigarettes have to follow the same rules and guidelines as smoking.
because I would consider,
I would be for that if we specified e-cigarette as opposed to lumping it in with tobacco products, that's all.
Yeah, I agree.
That was really, that's
Right.
really my main point.
Yeah.
We can do whatever, I'm
a
okay.
nicotine delivery device.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying no, just I would like to keep it separate so it doesn't
Sure,
affect
sure.
our tobacco decisions.
Sure.
Or, that's, I mean,
All right, well, we can take everything but that and then take that separate. I mean, it could,
Is everybody on board with kind of what I was saying?
oh, absolutely. And-
100%.
And I'll tell you, you know,
I could actually tell you too, this weekend I was at a cigar bar up in Boston. I came home,
Stinking.
oh my God.
yeah.
It was like the old days. My shirt stood up in the corner.
You know,
I'm surprised she let you in the house.
And I got an earful when I came in. I came in late because we were up at a antiquarian book thing on Boylston Street. And we ended up at a cigar bar having a cigar, and I enjoy one once in a while, and we did. And it was something I don't see in the town of Scituate. I really don't. It's fine up in Boston. All the power to them. They're more cultural up there. There's more stuff going on up there. But we actually stepped out of this place planning on going there. And my buddy's on his phone, you know, doing a map quest. He says, Bob, I can smell it. It's that way. He goes, yeah, 7 something, something, whatever. Sure enough,
Yeah.
you could smell it wafting down the street. So I don't think we need our children in town to
Yeah.
Nope.
and
have that.
I completely agree. I'm almost even, you know, some towns are 21, correct?
You see Bloomberg just passed it in New York City, should pass next year, that you're gonna have to be 21 in order to be able to buy cigarettes.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
Bloomberg
yeah.
isn't there anymore.
Well,
You know,
that's.
Needham is 21, Brookline's
Yeah.
19, and I just saw in the paper, between the time DJ was here, some other place upped it to 21 too. I forget, was it, I don't want to be incorrect, but there was something else in the paper.
Who was 19?
Brookline,
It's an odd number.
I know.
I'd be bold to take a step out in that direction as well. I think that absolutely, positively would keep all cigarettes, it would help keep them right out of the high schools. I mean, that's a pretty good separation, and,
I mean, I certainly got my eyes opened to all this funny business that's been
That
going
stuff,
on.
it,
And I've asked a fair amount of people that have kids, and parents are unaware.
geez, I thought I was pretty hip until I saw all that stuff. I didn't know what
And
any
I
of it
asked,
was.
and I asked a few
But man.
teenagers too, and some did, some knew, and some didn't. But,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't even look
well, because
like a tobacco product, it looks like
they've
candy.
just been mushrooming, and it's big money, and they have people just figuring out, thinking about how to lessen the profile, so it appeals to, to hook a kid younger, and I'm all for going to 21 as well.
Yeah, I did.
I think it's
I can be.
I think there's nothing worse than kids getting hooked on this stuff.
And I have to keep in my mind too, it was sitting on a health board, and I have to keep reminding myself that it's for
Right.
the health, the
I
general
know,
health.
I keep thinking that, it's okay for them to go to Afghanistan, it's okay for them to vote, but they can't go buy a bag of butts. And that's a moral dilemma,
Well,
But-
that's been the dilemma,
I know, I mean,
that's
it's
the
for
vote,
drinking,
that's
for
the vote,
everything,
that's the,
I know,
um,
but as you say, yes, it is for the greater good, and to have kids not brought up on cigarettes is better for everybody, so.
Because a 20-year-old's still gonna know a 21-year-old, so they're gonna have access to it.
They're gonna
The
get-
problem is you
right.
have an 18-year-old, and at this point, kids are, because it's being kept back early, there's all sorts of kids are 18 in high
Are
school.
older, yeah,
Half the senior class is
Right.
18.
right.
If not, there's 19-year-olds, so that's where I'd be. I think we could lay it out there, we could always come off of these at some point. if
Well,
we-
we have to have a public hearing, so I mean, at the
Yeah.
hearing, maybe you'll hear
Yeah.
something, change your
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, and we could certainly get challenged on some of them if there was if there was a major, somebody could challenge us. I mean, won't challenge us before we pass it, and then challenge it legally of some sort, but I don't see that happening in a little town like this, so, yeah, do we wanna go right down the line, or do we wanna just,
Yeah, let's go right down the line.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. You wanna read it, Mike?
Well, is the shorter question, which one do people say no to? Because we really did go right down.
I
the
say
line.
no to 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreeance with you there on a little bit, just because it's kind of more of a business thing. If you're in the business of alcohol and tobacco, then that's your business. I don't know if we
Can't
can.
stop them from, we
Yeah.
shouldn't
Mhm.
interfere with people trying to put food on their table.
Yeah.
I'd go along with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that and,
And the finding structure for mirror state laws, they're gonna be a lot harsher than we are, and we're in agreement to just do our own thing.
Right now, we have the ability to issue warnings. Um,
And if we go to 16 where we say shall, we're not able to issue warnings, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, we issued warnings, we've issued fines before, and we've,
aren't 14 and 16 related?
yes.
Yes. That's why the question marks beside both of them.
Well, one thing is, the 14 is sort of just the fine structure, which is the monetary thing, and we sort of have that already. And the shall and the may is, the shall and the may is for suspensions, it's not regarding the fines. So like if look, like on the third one, we have I think we've had a combination of fine and suspension. And you don't have to do the suspension, this would say, yes, you would have to do the suspension as well.
Then I'd say no, we don't mirror the state laws. We have our own, and we go to shall.
yeah, I think so too, because we had a case in here, I think I said to
Yeah.
those people that 25 years, and the fella slipped once, and it's still a small town. You gotta have some sympathy on something like that, in my own opinion. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I don't think it's favoritism either. It's just 25 years, one slip.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think we need a little power within our own town.
Yep.
All right, so you've got 5 and 16? Everything else you want?
No, 5 and 14 are no, and 16 shall.
Right. 5 and 14, no, and 16 shall, correct.
Well, 14 is the,
I think we should have our own finding structure. I don't think we should be,
no,
Yeah.
you want May, don't you?
oh, I do want May, I'm sorry.
You want
I
May.
want May.
At 14, we already have the 100, 200, 300. So that is different than what we got.
Shall is a definitive thing.
Yes.
May is, okay, we're gonna fine you $200, and the next time we may suspend you, or.
Yeah.
and as
Right,
opposed
depending
to-
on the circumstance.
Right, shall is
Right.
definitive, $200, you know,
You
you
want-
lose your license for a week or whatever.
Yeah, so 16, you want the May, and number 5 is no, you're not gonna cap. And
think one
14, I
time-
think we already have that.
We had a kid in here that sold, he was almost in tears. I mean, his punishment was right there. I forget, I think it was the,
Well,
I'll
there
leave
was
it
also
nameless
guys
now,
that
but-
got fired straight out.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, if a manager or an owner is gonna take that, I mean, that's,
Well,
the punishment was there.
Well, yeah, but these were also people who had taken the training and
that's-
ignored it.
And, well, and that's their business, I mean, you know, and you don't know if that was the only issue, I mean, so you
Right.
can't, it
So,
just,
Right. Now, does this lead into the finding structure and the revolving account? For discussion,
or the permit fees.
or the permit fees, that's right.
Permit
right.
fees, we were very low, we were 100, right? And you showed me that list,
mhm.
and some of them go up to like 300 or 500. Now, obviously, if you look at a mountain like that, or a curve like that,
Mhm.
you know, there's, if someone's 500, I think it's Needham and Newton, there's plenty of them that are 50. We're right here, a lot of them are 150 and 200. So I see no reason that we couldn't at least double it. I mean, for the amount of cigarettes that some of these guys sell, go to $200 for a fee.
Yeah,
Unless you think that's excessive to double it.
No, I'm okay with that, but I'm more fast forwarding a little bit. I'm not sure we can generate the
You can't.
fees and fines, well, the fees, and I suppose then you're looking for fines to revolve, you know, on that revolving account.
You can't, we only have 13 permits,
I
so
know,
that's $2,600, that's not enough to do anything with, to be honest with you.
well, I think you could get somebody to go out for not that amount of money, but something less than that, to at least go out once a year and
Once a year, correct.
to do a check, and that's kind of basically what I think those permit fees are, and a little bit for administrative costs, obviously. But it gives us enough to have a little juice, and then if somebody has the misfortune of stumbling, then they get fined, and that's gonna pay for their re-inspection at another time, to have somebody come in and say hello. So it's just more, it's not to make a profit, it's more to cover expense.
Right.
Well, I mean, ideally, I would love to see 4 times a year, until they get it in their heads, you know, until we stop seeing screw-ups, because, I mean, there was one time we ended up with 5 people in here in one city. You know, it was terrible.
Do you recall the prices when we had the co-op years ago? Do you recall?
No, it was funded by the tobacco
Oh,
settlement.
it's funded by then, but still.
Yeah, it was state, because when the state put the taxes on the cigarettes, they had this big campaign about the tax that was gonna be for health benefits, it was gonna be for education of anti-smoking, it was gonna be this and gonna be that, and within a couple of years, that plug got pulled, so the tax is still there, but it's not benefiting.
Yeah, I mean, they had big things like when Gillette went smoke-free and things like that, and they had these, you know, PSAs on, and the PSAs really had an effect. They really did. And when we had our local group, we even did a local PSA that we showed on like local cable and everything, and some, like Nessun or something like that. And, you know, it worked well, and the kids, there was proof that the kids paid attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's too bad, and it kind of bothers me at a different level that that money did get pulled. There should be money allocated for this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, the burdens put on us. The state should be.
Yeah, we started out with like
Especially with all
a,
those taxes.
we started out
Yeah,
with
that's
a,
right,
with
that's
a
right.
group of like 8 in our group, and we had such a great coalition that they kept, you know, go join this one, go join this one.
Yeah.
And ended up with like 16 people
Yeah.
joining, 16 communities that
Well,
ended up joining.
Well, like we said too, if we join up with a neighboring town, whoever it may be, that we may be able to bring that cost down. They can hit 2 towns in one night and do sporadic
Shared
checks or whatever.
expense, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a little bit more research, but I would think that we do all the groundwork for the revolving account, but we put it in, because of time and trying to get it up to speed, that we try and put it in the budget and see if it flies. With the idea that we could put it in a revolving account, have the groundwork laid to put it in the revolving account for the next year, which would be could be the special.
When they came in, when the state did it years ago, did they hit all 13 places in the same day, or is it?
No, what the coalition did is, they would, I think they would come in like 4 times a year, and they would hit half and half
So every
and
place
half
you go,
and half.
yeah, twice.
Yeah, but they gave half twice.
Right.
And the grapevine works. If somebody suspects that they're being checked, the calls go out. So that's another reason not to do them all at once.
Right.
But, I mean, we used to know that, you know, if you think you're gonna go down and do all the food places on Front Street, by the time you get to the end, they know you're coming. So we mix them up now.
Which is good and bad because, you know, I hate to be the guy trying to catch somebody. That's not my personality, but
Well,
even if the call goes out, they know people are looking, and that makes you paranoid
It's
not
a-
to do it the next
yeah,
night,
it's a-
if you're consciously
it's a
doing it.
deterrent.
So it still works, even if the grapevine thing is going on. It's still.
Deterrent.
It's a deterrent,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would second the $200.
Well, make it a move it.
Make a motion to increase the permit fee to $200 per year.
Second.
Okay, that is,
With the intent of establishing a inspection program, a compliance program.
We got a motion and a second. Can we legally do this under the open meeting law? Because we have it on the agenda as discussion for tobacco regulations.
you're raising a fee.
All right, just double checking, that's all. I don't want to get in trouble with
Fee's
anybody.
already established. It's
Okay.
not-
All right, then, all those in
Not-
favor? Aye. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot one from the hip, just discussion, and I can't believe I'm gonna say it. Scituate has a tax now on food.
Mhm.
Can we incur a tax on a pack of cigarettes for the benefit of things we want to do health-wise pertaining to cigarettes?
I don't
To
think so,
pick-
because right now that goes through the Department of Revenue.
Yeah, I don't think, that's fine.
It's something that we,
What they did is they passed a law in the legislature that allowed the municipalities to put a tax on food. And I think they would have to do the same thing for us for cigarettes, for it to be a local tax.
interesting thought, because even a nickel a pack,
It's a good thought.
you know,
Yeah, I think.
come into this coffers for something that the state dropped the ball on,
I think.
or took the ball and
Jennifer's
went
right,
home with. But,
though. I think Jennifer's right
yeah.
about the procedure, just that just wouldn't fly.
It's a great idea. Maybe it's something we should push.
Same thing with the lodging tax. I mean, you know, the surcharge and
Well, maybe it's something we can put a buzz in somebody's ear. That might be a little side project.
Yeah, when we could, I'll float it up to my friend at local health.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole way we got the state to go no smoking was the fact we got so many locals to pass it. And then we put the pressure on Menino. And once Menino caved, the rest of the,
Like a house
the
of
rest
cards.
of, you know, the state came.
Wi-Fi at a tough one, right?
I thought it was great. So, I mean, you know, if we start the movement locally, grassroots again, maybe we can make it work. And then we can get what we need and what will work and help people.
All right, next up, what you had started talking about, putting in writing, so a hookah bar, cigar bar, smoking shop, if you will, can establish roots here.
Hmm.
Preventative maintenance, as Jennifer calls it.
Prevention.
Yeah, to me, it's the, even the cigar, the hookah bar, and in the cigar bar, people were smoking cigarettes. It's the whole secondhand smoke thing, without a question.
Do you agree with that, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is that something that we can do today, or does that have to be put on the agenda for next,
What?
to be able to start the process of putting that in to ban so the shops can come to town?
Well, what I am going to do is, based on what you have just told me now, is get a hold of DJ, and I'm gonna have him write our local regs, because
So-
he's pretty much got it all in templated, and he'll
And you
just.
just
he'll-
insert everything?
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful.
And then what I'll do is I will distribute to you, and then we have to set a
Proofread
hearing.
'em.
We have to set a hearing date. And after the hearing date, you can vote them.
Right.
Be nice to have this done by the new year. Is that possible?
You're done, but, it's this time of year. My priority has gotta be the budget right now.
Well, I would think a phone call that person you're
Oh,
just
yeah,
talking
well,
about.
DJ's gonna do the bulk of the work, but even now.
Tell 'em the board is on board.
To tell.
That's what they want.
I have to advertise the hearing 2 weeks in advance,
Yeah.
which means we can't have it 2 weeks from tonight, because I do not have enough time.
Right.
So, I mean, we could set it for, if we have I don't know what our December meetings look like, but if we have 2 scheduled in December, we could set it for the second one, and hopefully not have anything real important else that we would have to do that night.
Yeah, I just, looking at the end of the year as a deadline, I guess it really doesn't matter whether it's after it or not.
Next meeting's the second.
Hopefully I'll have a good hand on the budget by then. Because I'm
Yeah,
certain.
next meeting's the 2nd, so that's not gonna happen, and then the next one's the 16th. And I will not be in town on the 30th.
Are those our scheduled meetings?
I don't know if it is, but
2 weeks.
that's every 2 weeks, but the 30th, I mean, that's
You want
right.
to do the first meeting in January?
If we hold to the 2 weeks, that would be the 13th. I'm not sure when Martin Luther King Day is. My calendar doesn't have holidays on it.
All right, what I will do,
13th Monday? So
Yeah.
I would think that holiday is
Probably.
it's probably the 20th, I bet.
Yeah, 13th.
Um,
I thought it was more like usually right after,
what I'll do is I'll email you our
Let's
dates.
go back to this year.
I was seeing if it was, like, if it had a calendar for January,
Yeah.
somewhere in there, I didn't see
I
it.
think,
so we'll shoot for mid-January then. I mean, to keep it without anybody beating themselves up that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, as long as you let everybody know, have a hearing on it, sure.
yeah, okay. I'll have a better idea, probably by the end of the week, what we're looking at, after I talk to DJ.
Sweet.
Okay.
There are a few other things too that we had written down last time, one being beaches.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't wanna, I think that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
Smoking on beaches?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I've done
Why? Why is that something so? I could go either way, I just want to hear why you think that's a
it.
slippery
Well,
slope.
one, if you get a complaint, by the time you get there, they're gone.
Yeah, well, it starts with the, I was gonna say enforcement, whether it
Right.
be,
Yeah,
Then you're
that's
talking
right.
private property, public beach, down at Humrock, it's a nightmare.
Okay.
Could be calling on someone that,
they're sitting on their backs.
I-
sitting on their
I
own
don't-
beach.
Yeah, I don't even know where the lines will be.
Yeah, it kind of,
That's a big.
like you said, I think it's enforcement.
And the lines could be underwater,
Yeah, right.
Yes, you're right.
It's my first,
and then what if a kayak is sitting there, and then you're on a boat, on the beach, I mean, you know what I mean? You just-
I hear
It's a Pandora's box, I think that.
I think enforcement would be a, yeah.
I don't think we're ready for that yet.
What else you got? Give us another one, Steve. What else you got?
VFW.
I don't
Oh,
think
at
they
the-
smoke in there anymore.
Is that a private club? I'd let them handle it on their own.
Okay.
If they
I think
have-
it's just what my opinion.
If they have if they rent out the room for a public event, it has to be non-smoking. But if it's just them in their place, having a good old time.
I go a couple times a year for a few meat raffles, and I
It's
could
their call.
swear that they're smoking, but I could be wrong.
No, I would bet you they are.
You're probably in the back office or something.
Well, they always have the door open on the side,
Yeah.
that door's always open.
I think you get into another sort of enforcement issue that it's a.
Crossed off the list.
Well, no, it's just a.
It's just not,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, if we had more clubs in town, I think it would be a little bit more serious.
I know one of the local
I mean, I
yacht
think
clubs
our goal,
did a
I
battle and,
certainly is the minors issue.
Obviously,
And
I mean,
think
that's
I
a
think we just
priority.
gotta hammer that home first, and then you can,
Pick a battle.
I mean, really then the question is the age.
Right.
And we do go to 19?
Well, 19 still, as you said, half these
Well,
kids are
I'll go
18
to-
and a half or.
I'm throwing that out, I'd go to 21 if.
I'm on board with 21 too. It's liquor and cigarettes.
And let's go to
Boom,
21.
boom. You might get
Okay.
a large
Let's-
people
Let's become Brookline.
drop the hammer. Oh, Brookline was 19. It was
Oh.
Needham that was
Oh
21.
geez, the Needham Rockets, let's become Needham.
It was Brookline that was 19.
And that's the only one though, the Needham, who else?
I think there's one more, I saw somebody was going 21, I'll ask DJ when I call him tomorrow.
Wow.
See, I hate to sort of be such an outlier. I mean, maybe 19 might be I mean, I'd like to go to 21, I just don't want
You know.
to, I don't want to raise a lot of, and I wonder why other towns haven't.
Russell, what do you think?
Are other towns worried that it's legally non-enforceable?
Well, I can hear the argument now by the store owners. They're just gonna run to
No,
Norwell or Marshfield or whatever to buy their cigarettes, and that's true, but I don't know. Is there enforcement
Well,
for
They'll be
people
going to
smoking?
Oral anyway for the medical marijuana, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there enforcement for smoking under the age, or it's just buying, right? I mean, can you smoke at any age, you just can't buy them? That kind of how it is, so,
I think that is something that can be revisited.
yeah.
I would prefer that we just make sure we get these in line, and maybe we don't open, as much as I would like to, I'm not sure we should try to bite off too much.
Well, where you have a hearing, you can say, also under consideration is raising the age of purchase to 21, and see what kind of feedback you get. If you want to make the leap, you can make the leap. If you don't want to make the leap, you don't have to. If you want to cut it back to 19, you could. You don't have to decide it right here and now, but we can consider it. And you can get your feedback, and then you can decide, we're not ready, or you can decide, okay, let's go for it.
Needham and Brookline, are those recent?
Yeah.
So maybe other towns are sitting around like us thinking about the same
Mhm.
thing, and it might start to snowball a little bit.
And we could also see how the enforcement is. I mean, if we get an inspection, a compliance program in place, we can see what the infractions are. And if there's no infractions at 18, there might not be
Right,
compel, a dire need to go higher.
right,
But if we see a lot of infractions,
then we up it.
then we could,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think too, if we go to 21 and we're one town out in the middle of nowhere that's 21, then maybe the town should supply some advertisement for these stores that say Scituate is a 21 and over town, you know what I mean, for the non-smoking. Just to make that point known and have them put those, I remember the little things, if you're born before this date,
Yep.
you know, but something that the town provides to, that specifically says Scituate is a 21.
Yeah.
And to let those store owners know, so we don't surprise any of them
yeah,
that,
yeah, I mean, I.
you know, it would be
have-
unfair to get tested. I didn't know, ignorance is no excuse for not knowing the law, but still, I think it would be our job and ethical to,
Well, we only have 13, I'd send them notice.
Yeah,
Tell them these are the
but-
new
but-
laws.
But you may get, you may get somebody who is adamantly against raising it and would support that. And at that point, would then be against everything because they're against one. I mean, I think we have it in place, we can add and subtract, you know, we can always change it. It can be amended down the road.
Yep.
But we needed him, the important thing is having in place to begin with.
so you're thinking to hold back on raising the age for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can get a compliance check and see what it shows.
I see where you're coming from, not hit it all at one time, get the major chunk done, get over that hurdle, and then move forward. I mean, I think about that a little bit, but I see where you're coming from. It might draw less attention, less
Well-
negative attention, I should say. Because I think most of that, I think
Yeah,
everybody
just like
could
our- just
swallow
our-
pretty easily.
Just like our oils and greases. I mean, we put, you know, there might be some things that have to get changed down the road or get challenged or questioned, or we need to tighten them, but, you know, at least they're in place.
Okay.
Where did we, I'm sorry, where did we end up with the e-cigarettes and the nicotine delivery products? Are we gonna wait for the state?
I mean, I think we should. I think that might be overstepping,
There's a lot of towns that you can
because they
see
have
that
not
have
been
done
doing
it.
it. But will it be enforceable?
I don't know.
And they can have, it would, then what if the state has a different, there is something pending at this point.
Right.
It's-
I think just for the secondhand exhaust of that thing, whatever you want to call it, I just say
Vapor.
ban it. Don't know what it is, and it's not going to be indoors. Treat it like a cigarette.
Now, I'm gonna go a little personal here. It does bother me sometimes if I'm sitting at TK's, and granted, some of them are my friends as well, that they're drinking a beer and they're dipping at the same time. That really grosses me out. That's a personal thing. You know, obviously, it's not enforced at any of the bars or restaurants. But these towns, obviously, nicotine delivery products means sticking a skull packet in your gum.
I don't disagree with you. My main
It's an
focus is
interesting
putting,
point. I never would have thought about
is
it.
putting these in place for minors.
Hmm.
When you have a
And-
21-year-old, you know, 25, 35, 45 dipping next to you,
I know.
that's a tough
I
enforcement.
know, I just tell them
and-
to
Yeah, and
take the
I
cup
think
away.
our first focus should be the distribution to minors with the blunt wraps and the cotton candy and the
like I said, that was
bubble
about,
gum,
that was
cigars and all that, you know, that,
right, that was a personal, you know. not
Yeah, it
that I
comes
wanted
down
to
to an
get general out
enforcement
of it,
thing,
you
you're
know.
right. If it's a nicotine delivery device, it is, it outlaws it.
Right,
Yeah?
but it has not been defined as no, it hasn't been defined as as a tobacco product. That was what that's what those two kept harping on the e-cigarettes.
well,
Well, we have to wait, I think we're talking two different things. One, we're talking dipping,
Oh, yeah, no.
and two, we're talking e-cigarettes. So let's finish one before we go to the other.
well, I'm looking at both of, there's one town in Holyoke that just did e-cigs, and then there's all these 86 cities and towns that have e-cigs and nicotine delivery products.
So there's a clear boundary there between,
Big boundary.
yeah. Yeah,
That's-
the one town, they probably do a lot of dipping in.
Holyoke. They probably probably
Don't go there.
Skull factory there or something.
Hanover's banned them. That's local.
Hanover, Kingston. Actually, if you look at that way, there's not too many people around us that are really bothered with it. Hanover and Kingston are the only two I see.
Yeah, but
That doesn't mean,
So what? Let's do it. I mean, if we're doing this, we're doing this for minors, so what's the problem?
Or is this something you just want to wait for the state legislation and then?
No, well, explain to me what the question is.
Nicotine delivery products, now, that is technically dip, right? I mean, it is delivering nicotine?
Yeah,
Are they,
I would define it under that. I mean, that's why they're chewing.
right?
It's a smokeless tobacco.
And the sale?
No, this is for the same, this is the same, 10 years ago, whenever, when cigarettes, they banned in restaurants.
No, but what's your end
Just
sort
to get
of?
them out of restaurants. The same thing is to walk outside of TK's and smoke your e-cigarette out there, or go dip outside, you know what I mean? That's,
Plus to it would, that type of product
It's the
wouldn't
same
be
as a-
sold unless you were 21, but we're looking at that maybe down the road too.
it's the same as a cigarette, that's all, just so it's the same exact, statutes that people who smoke cigarettes have to go by.
I'll go along with it if you guys want to do on that, because, I would ban them in a heartbeat. I just want to make sure that.
You're sure there's something in state legislation?
Well, sure, but it doesn't, they're the ones who are influenced by the lobbyists, so you can't
Mhm.
believe just because it's up there, it's gonna pass, because the no smoking law went up there a long time ago, and those public buildings were no smoking, and the legislators were still smoking.
Well, you want your regulations to have teeth too. You don't want to have something that you're banning something that the state allows, because then you're on a, then.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
whole, it's the whole marijuana thing.
Well, then it's unenforceable, correct, and so,
But we did that, that's how we got the state to go not smoking, is we all did it ourselves.
and we are certainly banning sales of cigarettes to minors, right? And
Yeah.
we're banning,
But this isn't, what I'm worried about minors though.
tobacco,
Mike, this is not about the minors in this case, and take away my. the
It's public
dipping.
use, it's public
Take away
use.
the person sitting next to me at TK's, or any of us at TK's, or anywhere, and I know quite a few, well, two, right off the top of my head. She sits there with her e-cig, and the vapor comes right out her nose. And I think there's no reason why she shouldn't go outside and do that, or they shouldn't go outside and do that, just like you go outside and smoke a regular bud.
Right.
This place serves food, there's other people around.
Yeah, that was my opening line anyway.
well, when that
Yeah,
finally got, when the
absolutely.
restaurant, when the smoking in public places got passed, was that a progression? Did towns try to, you know, what I mean, it's in the same,
Yeah, we started grassroots doing it locally because the state wouldn't do it. We were convinced to do it, that was the only thing that we could do. And like I said, when Menino finally, everybody around Boston had done it, so the pressure was on Menino. When Menino caved, then the state caved.
I'm no doctor, man, but if somebody's sick and they're smoking an e-cigarette, they add more vapor into the atmosphere. Just
Germs.
doesn't- Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't sound healthy. I don't know. I just assume.
Mary, have you tried one?
Yeah,
And that vapor, that is a strong vapor, isn't it?
I think it's, a lot of them, the flavor is really, really strong.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know
they-
it's stupid because I'm smoking the regular cigarette, but I
Well-
didn't like the flavor.
Well,
yeah.
That would be the monologue cigarettes, I think they call them. Monologue.
What I've heard is that different e-cigarettes have different strengths, so that may be part of your problem, is maybe you have something that's stronger than what you're used to.
I know, and I didn't try every brand, I only, tried a
Yeah.
couple.
Yeah, there's different nicotine levels, there's different
And
flavors, and you
the-
can cook
the-
your own flavor if you want.
That's what she was
And that's
saying.
the
Yeah.
other possibility, you can do your own, and God knows what else you're putting in it.
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer right there.
Okay,
We can do well,
let's do it. No.
nicotine delivery
I'm-
products, I guess it doesn't
I'm
really
with you.
matter.
You don't gotta ask me twice, I'm all set.
All right.
Let's do it.
So I make a motion to
Odd.
add banning e-cigs and nicotine delivery products in restaurants the same way that the state smoke-free
Workplace law,
workplace law.
yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make sure we add that in to
Is there
the.
a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right,
Anything else?
I think we're working forward.
Yeah.
yeah, and the thing is, you know, we're not going out on a limb with any of these, because they're existing in many, many towns already. And we really haven't visited ours in several years, and we've been without the coalition doing compliance checks, and based on what the presentation showed us, I'm really a little scared of what they got out there right now. It's just too kid-friendly.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So you got a task, and we're looking at mid-January to button this up, and so we're gonna hold off this town meeting for the revolving fund where,
yeah. But I'm gonna put it in the budget and see how it applies. I'll have supporting information of what things cost, because I have a few good information sources to access that. And,
when are the licenses due? Are they fiscal year or are they calendar year?
we've already sent them, so whatever we put in effect won't be this year anyway, so. You can float the cost at the meeting, at the hearing.
So you'll have to redo that for your budget 2015 then, that the price went up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but you already sent them out, so it's not gonna be taken.
we're not
back.
gonna be taking it in this year. It'll be next.
So we were just, what are we, a week or two too late?
Well, no, because I'd still have to publish it
Gotcha.
for it to be effective.
Okay. Figuring out how all that works, when it
Yeah.
goes truly effective.
Yeah, so, I mean, basically what I think I'll do here is I'll wait till, you know, we have all of our regulations, and then I'll publish them in bulk, and that way I don't have to do two different times, two different costs.
Yeah, so this may end up being Situate Board of Health smoking regulations revised January, whatever, 2014, okay,
All right.
okay. That'll be the complete packet, so, all right. All right, so in that case, we probably want to look at everything and not maybe hold off, because then if we hold off on something, then we're going to have to redo it and redo publishing the packets again, getting back to the 21 thing. So it might be something we put some thought in on our own personal time, just to weigh it out, pros and cons.
I'll call Needham.
I see both sides.
I'm very friendly with my colleague up there, and I'll get her input on it for you.
I think that 21 will bring 13 business owners in here with major complaints. And I can totally understand where they're coming from a business standpoint. But again, this is the Board of Health, so.
Well, it would also probably give you some idea of what the ages of the customers are.
Yeah,
That's true, because we know that it's going on, so these kids may go in there and they're buying packs of cigarettes, they might be packs of gum and packets of Doritos and this, that, and the other thing, and, you know, it's not residual income that they're getting from the other stuff. Now, cigarettes, they don't make a lot of money on because it's so taxed and, you know, but it's the way to get them in the door to buy the rest of the
Oh, but listen,
junk food.
they're not just getting money from selling the cigarettes, they're getting money for promoting the cigarettes.
Right.
The tobacco companies are still paying for advertising.
Right. So, yes, 21, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, now you float it out there.
Yeah,
and
something
get
to
it-
think about.
See what
and-
happens.
yeah. Again, that wasn't a question I posed. It'd be interesting to talk to some people, and it's kind of fun to bring up this topic to a group of strangers and people you don't know and see what they fire back at you. And like I said, that whole e-cigarette thing and the other thing, it was all just ban it.
Yep.
Really didn't have anybody complain the other way. Smokers in general, best thing, they got it out of the restaurants. Used to go home stinking. They still smoke, it's just, now they don't have to work in an environment with that.
I just got off the plane from Las Vegas a couple hours ago, and just went home with my suitcase and was out there with my dad. He smokes, but everything. It's just horrible smoke. It's horrible. It's just horrible. Horrible. I had to go outside all the time just to get fresh air. I just couldn't deal with it. So I had to.
That's good, you never picked up the habit.
I've never smoked a cigarette in my entire life. Never in my entire life.
Yeah, me neither. My grandmother died of emphysema, and that was horrible. My father died at 53, massive coronary.
From smoking.
Heart disease as well. I'm sure that was a major factor because I wake up in the morning and hear them all hacking and the odor, and I'm thinking, what? It costs money and it's supposed to be not good for you? Why are you doing this?
I remember when my mom smoked and I was young, and we'd be in the car, you know, I'd pull down the visor, the visor, and then you could just see the circle of the smoke.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So you pull down the visor and you could just see how it outlined, because the smoke couldn't get in there, but.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mary, we don't mean to be beating you
All
up.
right.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second it.
Yeah, all those in favor, thank
Aye.
you.